Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of Building Gotham City in Lego. Over the past few updates, we've been working on the GCPD here, and we're going to continue to do so in this update. The first thing I want to do is get the GCPD tri-corner sign put in here, which I need to make, and then we're going to extend these sections just here by probably about 5 bricks, I think. Once I've done that, I'll then start working on the interior of it, and then building all the walls up all around. So without further ado, let's take this over to the table and let's get started. And here we have our GCPD tri-corner sign, and ignore the plates on the very bottom here. They'll all be changed, or because they'll be replaced by the parts of the actual structure itself. But it's so satisfying doing the sign writing, and I did find it's a little bit easier than previous sign writing I've done in the past. I think it is just a case of getting used to the different techniques, but to show you the techniques gives you an idea of how it's all kept together on here. We've got numerous brackets in all different directions, different snot bricks, even the curved ones, as each one has a different sort of size to it, which helps you in different elements. Got loads of little clips here, lightsaber pieces. I could have used a 4-long lightsaber piece just here, but I found one of these parts here, which are the little clips that keep the railway track pieces together in the packet. But yeah, very satisfying to do that. What I need to do now is transfer this over to the actual build. And here we have the GCPD tri-corner sign all in place, and really liking how it's all coming together. It would have been nice to have had it stepped back by half a stud. However, there are certain parts of this where studs are connected together on the sign writing. So for example, this one here, the top of the D is connected to there. Now I could change it over to a tile and that would solve the problem. The problem I would then have is that there are some parts further down here where it's the only connection point and it wouldn't be connected. So we are going to leave it as it is. I think it looks absolutely fine like this. So what I'm going to do now is turn my attention back to this top section here and carry on building those up. And there we have the 2 window sections all built up. And I did try moving this GCPD tri-corner sign back into the build a little bit. However, it just didn't work. I was going to put it on jumper plates, but it then started interfering with these pillars. So it ended up, it's just going to be staying as it is. And I am happy with it. It was just a case of seeing if I can make it that a little bit better. But now we've got the front section to the height that we want it to. I'm going to start putting the tiling down on the inside of here and some studs ready for the interior details. And then once I've done that, I'll then carry on building the walls up around the rest of the build. And there we have 4 walls on the GCPD, and we've made a start on the interior of the structure here. There's still a lot more details I want to put in here. Where you can see studs on the floor is where the tables are going to be, or the desks should I say, and down this end there will be an office for the police chief. Now on the back here I was considering making this a removable panel, however this side is going to be facing the centre of the table, so I'm not really going to be able to get access to it anyway. So I think the only way I will get access is by taking the floor off that will be on the top. I've still got to put the windows in both ends and also attach all of this together using some plates on the very top, as at the moment, due to the style of technique that I've used for building, all of the panels come off on each side of the structure. So let's get those windows in, get the ingots on there and see how the whole build looks. And there we have all of the walls all tiled off on the GCPD on the front and also the back. There are still some parts I need to do, like the window ledges here and above the windows just there. These walls, they are quite fragile in some ways. This isn't attached, it's only attached going upwards, so from there if you pushed on there it would break, so just need to be careful when moving this all around. But really pleased with the look of it so far. I've still got to decide whether or not I want to put the bars going across, as you see in the source material. Part of me's thinking it'll look better just leaving this as it is. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this over to the city and see how it looks on the rest of the structure. And here we have the sections of the GCPD all together, and it's come on nicely. Really happy with how it's looking at the moment. Obviously still so much more work to be done on the build, but I'm definitely going to change these windows out to give it a better style, something more in keeping with the rest of the build. They just don't look right, the ones I've got at the bottom there, and I just got to work out what sort of style I want to go for on the very top of the build here as well. But let's go around to the other side of the city and see how it looks from the other side of the table. And here we have the back of the GCPD, and it's such a shame when you walk into the Lego room that you're facing the back of it as opposed to the front. But part of me is happy with that, because you're not always going to see the best side of everything in a city. So it's nice that you have to walk around the city to see certain aspects of it. But one thing I am thinking about with this is I'm going to put some billboards on this section just here. At the moment, I don't like the look of it at all. However, I think if I had some billboards on there which would give a pop of colour, it could really help to transform the build and also bring it to life. Whether or not I have some that have been graffitied over, that's another option, but we'll certainly have a good think about it. And then it's just a case of whether or not I get some printed tiles, some stickers, or actually try and do something brick built or tile built. But what I do is replace a couple of the masonry bricks there with some snot bricks and then attach it that way. But yeah, there it is, the back of the GCPD. And it's just nice having a little bit more height to the city. And I think once we've put the final top floor on there, that will really set it off. And what I'm hoping to do is find some way of having a bat symbol on the top there, which I can then shine onto the wall, and hopefully the bat symbol will come out on the blue wall over there, which I think would be absolutely amazing if we can get that sorted. Anyway, that's all we have time for. I hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. Already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think would be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for popping by. Till next time, bye for now.